Welcome to Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. And now, once again, let's have a warm welcome for the Voice of Doom. And thank you for that professional introduction. Let's see. Really get down and dirty. Maybe. I know what I want to say, but do I say it right? And do I say it so you watch? Goal of today, or topic, is I'm going to start on racism and all the permutations. Try to, put an end to it once and for all. Try to solve this dilemma. It's really not. It shouldn't be a problem, but they're making it a problem, and they're right and they're wrong. It's like that's all it says for Springfield. It's like everybody's right and everybody's wrong. You're not gonna find the middle way because nobody talks, and that's where the problem is. But I'm gonna try to solve the racism thing, and whether I should just cut to the chase of just ending it now, and you don't have to go on after that, but I can explain why. Explain why racism isn't a big deal, and I'll explain kind of, I don't know how you put it, what the real problem is. Well, first of all, in my opinion, there's really no such thing as racism because, it would be very rare. It'd be like a phobia. It'd be like, I'm afraid of, going over bridges. It's an aberration of the mind. No one can possibly say, oh, I hate this person, just simply on the fact that I see what color he is, and that's it. Nothing else. That's the only thing. I see that, I hate him. It's very rare. Might be people like that. It might be on both sides, but it's not the color. It's not the shade. It has to do with communication. And that's where the problem is. It has nothing to do with physical features. It's a waste of time. But before I get delving into that, which I really shouldn't have to do, I'm going to tell you right now that 3 generations from now, they're going to be laughing at us. They're going to be going, what are these guys wasting their time? It's like, anybody that's been to a few biology classes knows that, the Caucasoid genes are recessive, and that's just the way it is. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. Let's see. Yes. Here's the family photo. It's my parents, my 2 nieces. Those are the 2 nieces with my parents. I know it's hard. So, parents are pretty lily white. That was back when we lived in that horrible neighborhood, and we were spreading hatred everywhere we could go. And those are the 2 nieces. One more niece that looks kind of like the darker one, and here's my oldest niece. It's a picture when she was like 5. Pretty cute. Let's see, here's her with her kid and her fiance, or whatever he was at the time. And she's beautiful. She's just got her doctorate in anesthesiology, and I think she dabbles in real estate in her spare time. She's like in her 20s. So yeah, society's been rough on her. She struggles. I have more nieces and nephews. None of them are white. And there's my kids. It's hard to do this. The one in the ROTC, the guy on the far side. They're not very white looking. There's one kid when he was younger. Oh yeah. So no white people in our family now. None. Yeah, if you ever have an autistic kid, put him in ROTC. It does wonders. It's a good tip. Really good tip for you right there. Yeah. Recessive genes. There won't be any white people in 3 generations, so why is everybody bickering and arguing. They're still going to hate each other. Now they won't have an excuse because they'll all look alike. And now it's like, why do we hate each other still? It's really, I get tired of some of this. But yeah, you don't have to worry about racism. I mean, maybe we can blow ourselves up over it. I'm sure we can and probably will. But it's just embarrassing to know that, 70 years from now they're going to be like laughing and like, if they're laughing, they'll be like, God, back in the early 21st century, they were just like insane. What were they, oh, what color are you? Oh, you hate me, and you got the power, and I don't have the power, and they don't have the power, and I thought I had power, and now they're telling me I don't have power, and it's like, yeah, the CRT, I know there's some truth to it, and to admit to it, then what? You're going to put your own head on the gallows? I mean, there's no winning. Not going to be any winning, because the worst thing you can do is say you're right, because then you're a real monster. So how are you going to win? It's a perfect sacred cow, because there's not going to be any talking. There's not going to be any conversation, because the whole point is to keep us from talking. And the problem is communication in the first place. I don't know why I had to explain this stupid crap. It's so easy. You can be black and white, and you both like video games, and you're both geeks, and have thick glasses on, and you're kind of overweight and love pizza, and it's like, you're friends, you like each other, you're not, you communicate, you're on the same level. Somebody else is like, I'm, from Indiana or whatever, and I'm kind of a good old boy or whatever, and, go to the inner city, and some guy that you can't understand each other's language at all in the first place, and it's just almost, confrontational to even go there. I mean, even to think about it, but you know what I mean. I mean, if your communication level is not level, but just how you communicate, if it's not together, you're not going to get along. It doesn't matter about your skin. But yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about this CRT because it's nothing new. I mean, it's really nothing new. I remember I was a junior in high school, and there's always the smart-ass guy. I should go before that. I knew I was special. I knew I was, even when I was in the white bread school, there was one or two black people, and I'm like, God, I'm glad I'm white. I mean, I think I really thought that at certain times, I'll admit it, because it's like, it seems like the white people run everything around here, so I'm glad I'm, born in that caste or genre, whatever. I mean, I just looked at the way things were, it's like, we're dominated by all these white guys, so I'm glad I was born a white guy. I mean, never mind all that transgender stuff, let's just talk about day-to-day, how you have to deal with things. So yeah, happy. So yeah, CRT, yeah, they're right. I had a feeling of, let's say, superiority, gratitude that I was born the way I was, because I felt like a lot of people were oppressed, and I'm lucky I didn't have to live like that, So yeah, they're right. And I really thought that the thing was like that, and I was kind of in the catbird seat when I moved to Hawaii in 7th grade and went to the public schools there and didn't understand a word they were saying. And I walked in, and I was the only white guy there, and they were all Samoan and Hawaiian and local Japanese, and I didn't understand a word they were saying, but I said to myself, well, I'm the only white guy here, so I guess I'm going to really run the place. That's what I said, and I didn't really run anything there. I mean, it was really bad because I pretty much had to fight every day. And they didn't make bones about it. Sometimes they contrive little plots to get me in trouble so that another person can come and beat me up. But at other times, it was just, I hate white people, boom. And it's like, I'm like, all right. So, yeah, I was in the catbird seat. I had all the power. I was, systemically in charge, but there's a lot of fights, and they hated me, and I didn't understand them. It's hard to understand pigeon at first. And they don't understand sarcasm, and I found that out right away because I'm trying to joke with these guys and I'm getting hit every time I say open my mouth because it's like they're taking me seriously. It's like, this sarcasm's not going to go well with these locals. So I know a little bit about racism from, kind of, can't say it was from the other side because, I always had the power. I was always white, so, I was abused and hit and they hated me and stuff, but since I was white, it was all right. I went fast. So anyway, I'm back in high school. Getting forward to high school. Middle school is horrible, and then when you get dumped into a total culture shock, it's not fun. I go to high school, I'm kind of getting used to the whole mixture. I'm into a new school, and everybody's kind of mixed. There's a lot of everybody. The Hawaiians and Samoans are kind of in the background. They're not into classrooms and stuff. But there's always your smart ass, and this guy was like when I talk about race, he was half Japanese and half white, and pretty gay. But, we liked him because he was really smart and really witty. And he's the kind of smart ass that reads this CRT stuff fresh off the press because he reads everything. So he's coming up to me and he says, "You're a racist, you know that, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. My parents, adopted a half black girl, a half black sister. I'm not racist." He's like, "Oh, see, you're racist." And it's like, why? Because my parents, adopted a black, yeah, because you had to come and save her and all this. He had it all down, just like now. You had to be the white savior, The fact that you even say that you had a black friend means that you're racist, and it's like it's a trap. And it's one of those traps that get tighter the more you try to get out of it. It's real insidious. So it's nothing new, and sometimes I actually thought about it, and it's like, well, I guess everybody's, my wife, she's Latina and hot-blooded and half Mexican Indian and Chinese, and she's like, I hate white guys, she's talking about race, and she's like, everybody's racist, and it's like, some people just don't like other people, and then they generalize, they take a certain attribute or they take a certain experience and say that they're all like that. Be a waiter in a restaurant, you'll start to kind of learn how to not be racist, here's a guy that's not going to tip, here's a guy that's going to be a pain in the butt, and it's because he's from a certain country, believe me. And I'm very even-handed about being annoyed with people from other countries. They can be any color they want. French people, try waiting on a French person. Torture. Horrible. Try waiting on an Indian person, and I don't mean whatever Columbus called those people when he got here. I'm talking about Indians. Does this have meat in it? No. Does this have meat in it? Yes. Does this have meat in it? Yes. Does this have meat in it? Yes. It's like really annoying and high maintenance. So yeah, there's certain people from certain countries, I see them, I'm just right away, boom, I don't like them. But maybe I'll get to know them and maybe talk to them and they won't be so bad once the check comes. But, it's communication. I don't even know if I have to go on this. I shouldn't have to. And fit in most of what I wanted to say in a perfect amount of time, and I kind of got some good stuff in there. I'll think if I have anything more to say on that because I can talk about that with the last segment, which is going to be a little bit difficult because 2020 was hard. So I'm going to start that, I guess, on my next episode, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I solved a lot of problems because it seems pretty obvious. It really doesn't seem like it should be that big a deal. Maybe we'll get more into the CRT thing as stuff occurs to me because, it's not right to try to force people to think a certain way. You let it happen naturally. It's learning and realization. It's a couple of Buddhist terms. You can learn something and you can realize something, and don't try to switch them, because if you try to force something that you should realize, then you're jumping the gun. And you're going to maybe get the opposite of what you wanted in the first place. You let people learn stuff, and then they realize something. They realize, yeah, these are kind of true, Maybe white people are too this, or maybe, maybe this is, you can think about things, learning and realization is pretty profound. So, yeah, I got a lot done. I'm happy. I'll start with 2020. That's going to be a real epic, and I mean epic. I don't mean like the way they use it. All right, it's a good night. Thanks. See you later.